Hello everyone and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto TA live stream with me, No FOMO Charts. Today is Monday, June 26, 2023. It's about 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's jump right into it. Welcome everyone. I am streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch. We also have a Twitter if you want to follow that. Now into the watch list for stocks earnings releases this week. We have Carnival, which was today, Walgreens, General Mills, Micron, Nike, Rite Aid, Constellation Brands as well. The economic data we have coming out this week, consumer confidence. Fed Chair Powell is going to speak again this Wednesday and Thursday. This is just a speech. This is not the press conference. He already raised interest rate. He paused the interest rate this month, and then he said he's already going to probably raise the interest rate 2 more times this year. So this is just a general speech from him. Also, final GDP, the unemployment claims, core PCE price index data this Friday is going to be kind of big because that's one of the major inflation data markers. Consumer sentiment as well. This actually all matters because if this data is not improving month to month, then the likelihood of raising interest rates actually goes up. So if all of this data essentially goes in the direction, not all of it, but most of it goes in the data that Chair Powell wants to see and that the economy needs, then maybe 1 or 2 years from now, we might see a year from now, we might see the actual interest rates pause and start to go down. So USA FOMC last week in the meeting, they said that earlier this month, we are pausing in the interest rates for now, but they did signal at least 2 more interest rates in 2023, and traders are kind of already hedging their bets. They're saying there might be only 1. However, the UK Bank of England raised their interest rates by 0.5% this month. Now, a lot of action happened on crypto. We'll get to that. But in terms of the news, USA FOMC acknowledged in a hearing before the House and the Senate, the testifying, he said that crypto appears to have staying power in the US economy at least. And so that was pretty bullish for crypto. Also, he did say, the Chair Powell, that the central bank views payment stablecoins as a form of money and robust federal regulations are needed, but this is providing additional clarity to crypto investors and traders. Also, what was bullish for the crypto market, BlackRock, the company, filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF approval. That kind of kickstarted things last week. ARK Investment, Cathie Wood's firm, they already refiled for a spot Bitcoin ETF in April earlier this year. In other stock news, Robinhood is planning to lay off 7% of employees. Tesla is downgraded by Goldman Sachs. Canopy Growth, cannabis company, gets a 0 price target by Benchmark. Aston Martin and Lucid company reach EV, electric vehicle tech deal. Okay, so that was the news. Let's jump right into the charts, and then we'll get to crypto. If you have a request, just let me know in the live chat, and I'll get to that. Still trying to go faster here in these streams for people. All right, so we're in the S&P 500 right now in stocks, starting off on the daily. It's important just to start here. We did hit this relative resistance point on the X, and we did hit my first support target. So last week, full transparency, had very profitable trades. I shorted stocks and I longed crypto last Monday. So I had a very profitable week last week. It was nice. But again, this is no FOMO chart, so we're always looking ahead to what's happening right now and making the next plan. So that was my last week. That's over now. Now this week, what are we looking at? S&P 500, we hit a relative resistance spot right here at about 443.20, and it's pulling back now. But where is it pulling back down to? Right to the immediate EMAs. Let's zoom in. It's still in a golden cross, by the way. I did hear some talk on the news about Wall Street saying, well, is this one red pullback? Is this the end of the market rally? Are we going to crash into recession now? My opinion is no, this is not the start of recession at the point of making this video because we're still in a golden upcross. The price, at least, of S&P 500 is still in a healthy uptrend. We're pulling back to short-term EMA, specifically the SMA 20 right here, which is $429. The 50 EMA is 420 and the 200 EMA is 405. Once we lose the 200 EMA, the price has a long way down to crash to even get to that point, 6% down, and then continue crashing. We will know something major is wrong in the world, maybe something like World War III situation. God forbid that never happens, right? But it's just a pullback right now. If we go on the weekly chart and we zoom in on this candle, okay, something interesting to note here on this candle, it is last week was inside bar. It closed inside of that green candle. Basically went sideways and then we started to drop. So people taking their profit basically from March till now. And if you're a swing trader, it's 3 months of profit. And somebody could have locked in about 15% gains on that on the SPY itself, S&P 500. Now on the weekly support level, it's looking more like, if I use candle body wicks at the bottom, actually we use the close here. Close price, somewhere around 415 could be a weekly level of support. We are starting to lose a little bit of momentum on the MACD histogram. So just wanting to watch out for that. Inside bar, when have we had that? The last inside bar was basically August, like big one, or February actually of this year. And if we have a couple weeks of hesitation and then bad news, it could definitely pull back to the downside. So inside bars are not good. Even if it pulls back, we want to see it maintain some kind of higher low structure on the price and then break up to new highs. So just because we have one red day or one red week is not the end of the market. We need a significant amount of downtrend to really crash the market. So actually, this could be, it's looking more like a buying opportunity as you know, certain stocks are getting downgraded, etc. So if we just get that buy the dip kind of mentality. And to make this extremely clear, we'll go back here into, this is 2020 now. So the pandemic high, the pandemic low. And then all throughout here is the same kind of psychology, is once we have a big red, people start panicking and thinking, is this the end of the market? We're supposed to go to recession. Is no, if it keeps going up, it's going to keep going up and traders are going to keep buying the dip unless there's extreme bad news. Even when we hit this relative top, people started getting freaked out and scared. And then we had a double top here, but still things are bullish, right? So we're going to take it week to week. Now, let's go to QQQ. QQQ on the daily. All right. So obviously tech was very overbought. Up here is overextended to the upside on the top side. And we had this triple RSI resistance here. And I do want to point out the MACD did down cross. So just be aware of that. Tech, because it's so high, tech might pull back a little bit harder. But I ended up shorting tech, very successful last week. Now on the weekly, same kind of thing where it's inside bar and then you have continuation to the downside, but it's right at this this support. It used to be resistance line, now support. Trend line, the yellow line up here on the top. If we could hold above that, it could even fall back down to, honestly, even 323, this lower X area, or 350, because it's trying to make a high, low, high, low, high. Where's the next higher low going to be? Somewhere in this area, the middle 340s, so we could get another bounce to the upside. The market has to cool off right now. We cannot go parabolic like Bitcoin in stocks. Stocks cannot do that because there's too much money, there's too many forces at play. That's going to bring it down. You get any downgrade from an analyst company or the FOMC, Federal Reserve, SEC can do something legally, and then it's going to pull the market back down. So just want to watch out for that. We actually hit the weekly high RSI up here about 77. Typically when we get to that level, we have seen some significant pullbacks in the market. So let's see just a quick reference point of how low it can go before it even bounces. 5% down, maybe 10% down. Back here was the pandemic, just horrible. So anywhere 5 to 10% pullback, and from where we are right now, it's not even 5%. It's only like 2.6%, which is, I mean, for hedge funds, it's a huge amount of money, but for retail traders, it's not a really big deal. So you can pull back all the way down here to 331. This is where I would start to put Fibonacci up for those curious. And you can really start to see, oh, we perfectly hit the 236 level in this red. And now the next target is 347 or 326. If we ever hit 305, that's going to be a very interesting point of value. That's a 618 level of Fibonacci. Now, going to Dow Jones, slightly different story. It's been stuck here for such a long time, for almost 9 months now, going sideways. So Dow Jones kind of struggling, these 30 companies, but the pullback here, it was almost an upside down head and shoulders type of psychological move with the breakout, but it's pulling back. So that's why we need to really see levels of support. Wherever the support's going to be 335, 330, 325, anywhere where I just marked, and it needs to hold that line and then pivot back to the upside, but it's going to pull back right now. Why is it pulling back? Because on these shorter term time frames, we were already overbought and we're falling back down to a lower RSI level. Now, what we do want to watch out for example, on this 1 hour Dow Jones, is you can see the price is clearly going up in this blue line. If that changes and we start downtrending, then it's a different story. It's a different story. If we start downtrending a lot like this and there's an attempt, but it keeps continuing down, almost like gold and silver, then you know we're in some kind of problem. But even on an hourly, it's still at some, you can make the case that it's at a level of support and that it was just a little bit too high on some of these EMAs. All right, so on the weekly of Dow Jones, a little bit more severe last week where we had the severe bearish engulfing candle. You want to watch out for those. This could even be considered an evening star. So I'm starting to, on the longer term, last time we had some kind of psychological evening star. The market, Dow Jones, fell about 5%. That's what I'm talking about. There's this 5 to 10%, 7% pullback range that it can fall down to. So if you're a bull and you're wondering for Dow Jones, well, when is it going to go up? Well, it has to really hold that level of support and break up to the upside, probably on a good catalyst as well. All right, very quickly, let's go to gold. Now, gold is very interesting. We had some bearish continuation to the downside. So gold for about maybe a week or two was almost trying to survive on this support line. I closed my short out here. It's okay. I shorted major tech stocks and had good profit last week, so I didn't really need to chase this more to the downside. For me, just mentally, I was done with this. But, you know, the real play here is if it's resistance here, 184, right? And you're wondering, people are wondering, like, why didn't it go up? Is because there's so much resistance here, probably on the level 2 as well, on the 183 level, and then it was in a rectangle and broke down to the downside. So the next downside target is 176 here in this 382 level. And it can even go lower than that because we look at this high, basically high, low, high, low, high, higher low can go all the way down to 171 and then make a recovery. So gold can be shorted down even more. I don't want it to fall, but the weekly play is coming into fruition here. It's coming true. Weekly, we had this bearish divergence. Somebody had to wait almost 3 months for this to pull back, but that's what being a swing trader investor is all about. Now, silver, I do want to point out, yes, we almost had this bullish inverse head and shoulders, almost. But if you take a peek, if we look carefully at the price, it made a lower high here on Friday, June 16th. And this was kind of a tilted head and shoulders neckline, and then some big money said nope, and we're not going up, and it shorted it down. So that's what happened there. Also, on the 4-hour chart, you can see it where the RSI is losing momentum and it's making a lower high, and somebody made the call to short it down, and that was actually the correct call. So just want to watch out for that. But if I'm looking forward now, I'm starting to see a little bit of bullish divergence, some momentum starting to form on the daily chart for silver. So who knows, silver might not crash down to oblivion, back down to $20 or $19. It's going to stop here at some point. And then when it gets extremely oversold, well, we're not there yet on just the trading platform for TA play. But, you know, we have to establish some level of support somewhere, even if it's going to be a little dead cat bounce. There's something to watch out for there. Try to speed up here. US oil basically still stuck inside a symmetrical triangle, and there is some relationship because Russia with the mutiny crisis that was incident that happened last week is still ongoing basically. So just want to kind of watch out for that. I'm not going to put too much credence into the technicals at this point. It's all about supply, demand, and fundamentals, and what country's doing what, and OPEC as well. So just understand that the symmetrical triangle here, 3% to the upside, plus or minus, or in terms of the larger, actually it's 10%. So that's why this target's up here. $70 to the upside and about $54 to the downside. This RSI, by the way, is just hovering in the middle. So that's showing there's just not much action going on in USO right now. All the action is on natural gas. And so I am still long natural gas right here, a very profitable trade, you know, up like 15, 20% on average, depending on which day I was looking at it. But, you know, something to look out for here on the daily. And again, this does not always work, but because I saw levels of support, I decided to enter to this trade and still holding it right now. This was a very severe correction to the downside, but this started to look like to me a little bit of accumulation. And we had a triple bottom support just below $6. So I entered here, and the RSI was also low. We had some active momentum. We had bullish momentum here, so that's why. Now, in terms of where are the targets, it's actually Fibonacci targets. Last time, natural gas popped, it went 30%, and before that, almost 20%. So I'm expecting a 20 to 25% after the breakout. We measured this little rectangle here. It's 25% is literally 941. First target, second target 12, third target 16. Maybe if it ever gets to 20 someday, but we'll see. But, you know, that's going to have to really prove itself. The RSI on the daily is actually kind of high right now. If I'm holding for investment, this is what I'm saying. It still is relatively low. The very large MACD histogram and open. And this is kind of a green sign that it's losing steam. If somebody is very, very conservative, like I said on previous streams, you want to see it go sideways first for a long period of time, and then break out to the upside before putting a lot of money into this trade. This is not financial advice. All right, I do want to point out, let's just take a quick look at some stocks before I move on to crypto. Okay, I don't see any requests. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the majors like Apple. So Apple, again, very, very powerful rally to the upside. I mean, this is a huge rally, but it's right at this resistance area. Okay, the zone here. It's all-time highs basically for Apple, even after stock split. But it is starting to lose momentum. Apple is usually never falls first. It's other stocks usually crash first, so like AMD, Nvidia, Palantir, etc. crash first. Apple's usually the last one to fall because it's so powerful, the market cap. But once we lose, it's very simple. Once we lose this trend line here, then you know we have a problem. This also looks like bot algorithmic buying. This is too perfect of a rally. It's so perfect in here. So it almost looks like a AI algorithm is buying this. But we are starting to lose a little bit of momentum here. Could be a bit of a pullback. I mean, you could kind of see it. We went from almost a low RSI point to a high RSI point, losing momentum. So if we Fibonacci this, you want to watch out for any major topping sign, because you can see the bottom out sign here, the morning star. I haven't seen a big evening star or shooting star or anything like that. So it's probably not going to happen tomorrow, but at some point there could be a little bit of a pullback. You want to watch out for that because it has quite a ways open space to fall down into the upper 170s. Now, Google is interesting. There's actually almost like a psychological head and shoulders here. You could actually visually see the resistance here, which is why I need to short the market, is on 129 level, 130. It's not going higher than that. So high, low, high, low, high, low, high. I thought, okay, it's not going higher, probably higher low. 111. All right, if you draw trend lines as well, you can see it's literally wanting to, it popped up, It's like throwing a baseball into the air and it's going to fall back down to somewhere. So somewhere is 116. Now, if it's really bad, $100, if depending on their earnings, which is actually coming up in about a month from now. So it's not too far away. We're also having the end of the half of the year. So people are rebalancing and they're shifting things around. Let's go to Tesla. Tesla got downgraded by Goldman Sachs and it was overbought up here in the 82 range. I do know quite a bit of traders online who they played this breakout. So, once you hit the head and shoulders here on the H4, you have to get out of there to take your profit. Now, it is approaching the low RSI on the hourly and the 4 hours. So on the day traders, they might get some kind of bounce. But on the investing side, you have a doji and then gap down, almost a evening star pattern with a downgrade. So I'll kind of be aware of this. And it could be related to maybe some of that Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg social media stuff that's going on right now, news. But either way, it's not really good. But if this is turning into a higher low, high, low, high, well, it should fall back down to maybe about 207 or 200s. And then maybe we'll try to see if we can get a bounce there long term. Another one, Netflix. This is what I'm saying is once you kind of lose, this actually went parabolic almost, right? Once you lose the parabola support, that's when you kind of know there's potentially a little bit of a problem here. Even with this trend line, we zoom out on the trend line. I remember somebody asked me on my stream a long time ago, so maybe here somewhere, what's going to happen with Netflix? And I basically, I told that person that it's still in the uptrend. So as long as it, stays like this upstairs, it's okay. But once we hit this resistance point, you might pull back down. And then that's exactly what happened to these support levels. It was at another support level and it went to a resistance level. That's exactly why we're stopping the market right now. Technicals, the algorithms, the bots, the AI, they're all programmed to take some profit. Not all of them, but many strategies are programmed to take profit at the resistance point. So I don't want to buy here. I do not want to buy here. I want to sell here. I want to sell. Where do I want to buy? I want to buy on these dips. This is beautiful textbook play. Maybe it will even go to about $400 right into earnings or something like that. And then we get one more play. So very interesting what's going on in the market right now. Last one, Microsoft. These all look about the same. One I was looking at before this, CVS, interesting is that CVS wasn't such a downtrend, but there is maybe signs of life here in terms of the upside down head and shoulders. Now, this is not financial advice, just something I'm watching here is it is starting to bottom out here. We'd like to see a little bit of a reversal here to the upside. Maybe we'll start to see a little bit more life coming into CVS in terms of the stock. But if the whole market crashes, that's probably not going to happen. But certain healthcare stocks on the investment side, almost like natural gas on the weekly, it's building. So any week now, any day now, I'm expecting for this to actually turn around and get some kind of rally going on. It's right at the 618 zone as well. This could actually, be an interesting options play or stock play. There's 10 to 20% here as long as we stop going down. Let's take a quick look here at, now this is getting interesting, at these sector ETFs, right? This XLK was overextended. You can see some of these were very overextended. Real estate support, energy going sideways. Consumer discretionary with a bearish evening star pattern on the weekly. I want a weekly chart, by the way. XLF just holding that support level. You want to watch out for that. Yes, SMH was just too overextended. All right. Let's just go to crypto now. The big news or the big moves. Cryptocurrency. Again, I'm streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Welcome, everyone. Hello. And a lot of big moves in crypto last week. So let's get into it. Total market cap. We did have a nice higher low bounce. It was a little bit wishy-washy, flip-flopping in the market for about a month or two because of all the regulation problems. We had this head and shoulders, and then we pulled back. But just on last week's stream, just full transparency, I did say that if we have a potential higher low here, maybe some kind of big green with bullish news, and then it happened one day later. So for me, that was enough for me to re-enter the market, and I had some pretty good gains last week. Now, on an investment standpoint, this is looking like a morning star. Yes, we're consolidating right now because the stock market is coming down. Yes, that's totally normal. But if this turns out to be an upside down head and shoulders, the entire cryptocurrency market should go up over time. That's presuming we do not have any more government major intervention. There's no World War III. There's no major crypto hack implode in terms of crypto exchanges basically falling apart, so to speak. Excuse my euphemism, but we don't want any major really bad things happening on a crypto. Okay, it should be okay because this is a upside down head and shoulders, high low. Can we go to the higher high to 1.62 trillion, right? Because if it was going to downtrend, this thing should have kept going down and crashed down, okay? So we just don't want that to happen, and buyers bought the market. Now, if I zoom out a lot on the weekly here, and we put this trend line makes sense here. That trend line makes sense. This long-term trend line also makes sense. Now, if we hold this, where's the target? We hold the support level of $1 trillion market cap. We should be able to do long-term rally back up to this 3 trillion, 4 trillion, maybe even $5 trillion market cap. The problem is the trading volumes on the crypto exchanges are lower. So not everybody is in the market right now. We've seen 1 or 2, 3, 4 cryptos just explode to the upside right now in terms of price. Very good gains on that. And I'm trying to hodl. Now it's all about the regulations. At the top of this stream, at the beginning here, we talked about some of the reasons why it went bullish. So Bitcoin ETF filing, SEC acknowledging cryptos here to stay, apparently, and talk about stable coins, etc. So all that really matters in the long term to me, because I am not a crypto day trader or scalper anymore, I'm a long-term investor or a swing trader, is this kind of reminds me of post-2020 price action. What am I talking about? Let me put it in a square right here, like this. If we compare the squares, square to square, is we had a pullback down, right? And then at some point we bottomed out. So we had a large pullback down, and October, or actually for the stock market is October, but November, December was kind of our low point. So right now we're at make or breaks, but we didn't have an extended rally because of the SEC lawsuits. I believe we would have had an extended rally if we had more volume and there's no government intervention. But now it's starting to look like almost post 2020. This is what I'm talking about, is you have some kind of crash, some hope, a major crash, and then the market starts to revive, right? Crash, some kind of hope, the SEC lawsuits, almost a market crash, but then we had good news to defend it 2 weeks later. And as long as we can keep holding, we might get this breakout finally, right? We might get that breakout. We're already seeing it on like Bitcoin Cash and XLM, just beautiful gains on those altcoins. But we haven't seen it happen on Bitcoin itself yet, or Ethereum, or even Binance Coin. Binance Coin this time might be different because of the lawsuit going on. But to make it short and sweet, point is as long as we can hold this higher low support level here above 1 trillion, let's get this higher low and higher high underway, and possibly the measured move If that turns out to be an upside down head and shoulders or just kind of this reversal, it could be 55% to the upside, which should take us to 1.71 trillion upside target. Let's also draw this trend line. It's starting to turn into, someone can interpret that as maybe it's an ascending triangle. We just back tested the support area of just under 1 trillion. Now, once we break out above 1.26 trillion, we might really see things going on up. So just in case this analysis or some emergency happens in the world, let's go to the bottom of the pandemic to the top of the pandemic, right? We already went from a 0.786 to a 618 retrace. Great. Now we need to break out to the 50%, 1.5, 1.9, 2.3 trillion. Let's break out to there. So always understand the risk. I'll just visually draw it here. What's the risk here? Maybe 25% market crash to the downside to an additional 50% target. So it's still a 2-to-1 long-term investing play. Our final line in the sand, which has never been violated, is 713 billion. Now go to Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin futures. We'll get some Wall Street action into this. Chicago CME viewpoint. This Bitcoin futures, there are gaps on this chart. As you can see here, the volume profile, I like to look at this chart a lot because it has a definite beginning and ending, and you can really see what's going on here. Let's Fibonacci this as well to get some levels of support. So now it's becoming really obvious. I'll take this gap off because it's already basically the 618 level here. We went to the 786 crash, right? We had the super double top high. We crashed enough, and then we're starting to see a trend change. Yes, trend change on Bitcoin. Where have we seen that? We've seen it here on the bottom of 2019 low. We also see it post-pandemic crash. So if either of these two scenarios that I have highlighted here in the blue circles, maybe it can happen a third time. So that's why I am long crypto right now. If it crashes, it's okay. It's okay with me. I'll take a small loss. Maybe I'll sell with a stop loss. But if it keeps going up, this one, I'm seeing a little bit of evidence that we might see some kind of rally follow through. The only problem is not everyone in the world is hyped on crypto or has money to invest in crypto right now because of inflation. So trading volumes are down, but we are starting to see certain altcoins in their uptrend right now. All right, so this is still on Bitcoin. Let me get rid of this. Again, in terms of the daily, it's still golden up cross. This is what I'm talking about last time. If we lost this to the downside, then we're not going up. But then we bounced off of it. So now the scales tilt in favor of the bulls. Okay. High, low, high, low, high, low. We bounce right here. This is a perfect setup. Let's go up. It's going to take a while now. I am not selling this for a while. I'm going to hold my Bitcoin until we get to some parabolic, monumental top, Mount Everest in the sky type of price. Then if I see a large bearish structure like a double top or something, and then I'll sell there. But this could be the start. What does this look like? It literally looks like end of 2020, right before a parabolic move. It could be different this time because the government's involved, but just because it looks so similar, I went long to crypto last week. Now, also on the weekly, we are not even in the super overbought territory of the 80s RSI. So there is plenty of room for crypto to go up. It could even go up to 40 because now we broke 30,000. That's our line in the sand. It could pull back, honestly, because day traders, algorithms, they're going to do their thing, meaning that they're going to retest one of these. Maybe it could retest maybe 29 or 28, but to me that's more of a back test because this is already open cross on hourly, and you could see it consolidating. So this is kind of float on. If you're a 4-hour chartist, you could see, oh, you might say, oh, it's probably going to pull back to like a 28 or a 20, lower 28K before we blast off again. So it needs to cool off. So if somebody's wondering out there, this is more about paper trading and education. If they miss something, is, try not to chase it too high, too far, and try to buy on some kind of relative dip is always the general advice, managing risk to reward. So when do we have relative dips on Bitcoin? We could just draw it here. When do we have relative dips? Using close price. There's four. One here, 1, 2, 3, and then we just had one last Thursday. So last week, Monday, Tuesday, I launched crypto. And now we had a pop up on day trading. And that's totally fine. It's going to pull back down red. And if this is real uptrend, it should pull back and then blast off to the upside again. Now, let's go to Ethereum really quick. Let me see if I have any requests. I don't see any requests. Thank you for watching and following, by the way. Appreciate that. Now, Ethereum. Ethereum's slightly different here. Let's start on a weekly investment. Let's back up here and see what's going on. Let's get some trend lines going on here. This is debatable, but I want to get a trend line that has the most amount of points if I just pull it down like this. And so actually this trend line right here makes sense to me. There is a shorter term trend line. You could also draw it like that. And there's a resistance trend line on the top. So now we're on a weekly. We zoom in. This is the trend change, right? We had the massive head and shoulders. That's bearish. Crash down. Symmetrical triangle. I've been talking about this for almost a year now. Symmetrical triangle. Where's the bullish target to the upside? 60% to the upside. So that target is actually closer than it looks. It's only 2,400. We're at 1,800 right now. There's only 25% more up to go to get that first target. Now, what I don't want to see as a bull is if this turns into a rectangle and this turns into a resistance level and it pulls back, Ethereum bull is not going to be happy about that. All right. But in the short term, it's riding up this uptrend, trying to get into a new uptrend, just like 2020 is what I'm saying. Right. Can you see the similarity? Let me bring up a different Ethereum chart. I want to explain this many times because I want people to understand. KuCoin, this is not the best one. Let's go to like a Coinbase or maybe a Bitfinex. So I want to show clearly the price action. Let's go Bitfinex. Now, just only looking at weekly price. This box of price, what does it remind me of? Reminds me kind of this. Doesn't it look almost very similar? Right? If I just ignore the news for a couple minutes, who cares what the news is saying? If I just look at the price right now and say, wait a second, I am seeing something here. After the crash down, we had a little bit of a hope rally. Oh, it came back down, but it didn't crash lower. It stayed here. Actually made a higher low on a monthly. And then it blasted off to the upside. So isn't it sort of doing something like right now? We crashed back down. We went a little bit sideways. We had a little bit of a rally. It could pull back one more time, retest it, down, up, down. And then we should, if it holds, we should go up. We should keep going up if there's no major problems in the market. Does that make sense? Like this and like this. On the weekly, if I just put everything inside the price right now, above that trend line, and really not reaching for some kind of setup, it's just really easy trend lines. High, low, high. If we maintain this high, low, we should go up to maybe upper thousands Ethereum price, maybe at least retest this 5,000 level again. But we do need some kind of good bullish catalyst as well. Yes, there is a little bit of this down cross. We've had that before. We had a little bit of down cross, but if we get continuation, it should be good. Again, we're not in the upper 80, 90s RSI level. Even the daily is not even overbought RSI level. So there's room here for this to make a move. Ethereum. Not quite an ascending triangle. Somebody could make that type of argument, even though it got pierced. So it's right. If this is an ascending triangle, it's literally right at the level where it has to break out. Support, support, support. It can't tighten here forever. It has to go up and break out to the upside, or get rejected. One of those two. I'm leaning a little bit more bullish because this is a golden up cross right here. We just bounced off that 200 EMA. So my estimation is something like 55 to 60% bullish. 30 to 40% bearish. 35 to 40% bearish, depending on the government news. Now, Binance Coin, slightly different. Binance Coin is different because they still have their active lawsuit. Same thing with Coinbase stock, right? Coinbase stock, this is old. Coinbase stock has a little bit of a problem, but I do want to point this out, that if this Coinbase stock survives, I did talk about this before, could be an upside down head and shoulders here. It's a bit of a stretch right now because of all of the legal problems, but we do have a double bottom here on the daily forming our right shoulder. If this is true, our measure and move should be 127% to the upside, which is why I drew my gray line target here. So this is a very risky play because of the all the lawsuit regulations that's happening right now. But if they have some kind of blowout earnings or something really good happening, or crypto goes nonstop up, then you might just see this follow along just on sentiment. Now, switching back to Binance Coin. Binance Coin is still relatively high price. So, we might never see $5 Binance Coin anymore, right? Because if everybody's hodling their Binance Coin and it doesn't crash, it might stay up here for a while. Something to watch out for on the weekly is it is starting to angle down a little bit. You kind of see it. Somebody might say, well, if we're honest, the descending triangle is about to get broken to the downside. It's possible. So Binance Coin, I'm not extremely excited about this because of lawsuit. They have a lot of proving to do in a court of law with documentary evidence, as well as testifying under oath if that ever happens. So let's just look. I'll just put two targets here. Is if this measured move goes to the downside, conservative first target. Just measuring the inside of your 40%. That's about our first Fibonacci, like 143. Next target down 88. And on a monthly, you can kind of see it starting to lose momentum. Low, high, double top here, about to lose the support. So Binance Coin itself might be in a little bit of trouble here on BNB. The only thing that's going to change my mind on that is if we get big green buyers or some amazing news that happens. So it looks like Binance Coin is either at risk of losing support, or it's going to take months for the momentum, at least on the indicators MACD, to come back and actually turn this thing bullish. So, if it loses this, could be in trouble here. The resistance targets, very easy to see, 350 and 425 on the upside. Now, let's talk about some of these payment cryptos I've been seeing pop up all over social media in the last week. Let's look at some altcoins as well and what happened here. Now, please be warned that some of the charts I might show here, it might cause some FOMO, some emotions to start, churning in somebody's mind or body. And this is why I became no FOMO charts. Is my philosophy, my trading strategy style, whatever you want to call it, is I buy low. Try to buy low and sell higher, right? As a long, try to buy low on the dip, on a crash or a dip. And then if it ever goes up, you just sell it, right? That's just kind of the old wisdom of investing, the old style. But there's a reason why I don't show tons of charts when we're at the top, is because it causes a problem for, I'm just going to call like anyone new entering into the market. New people or beginners or amateurs or whoever, whatever you want to call it, is they're just going to chase the green. Right? They're not going to play any strategy, and they're not going to do risk management. They're just going to chase the green. They're going to chase the watch list. They're going to chase the color. They're going to get influenced. about all that. So I'm just warning you right now. All right. Let's get into it. I might go a little bit longer this stream because of what's happening. So if we look at Solana, let's look at the big winner, like what just happened, Bitcoin Cash, right? Now, you might be wondering, like, why? Why did this thing go up? First off, if people have been following me for a long time on the stream, I did talk about Bitcoin Cash. I even have alerts here, right? Potential breakout play or potential short play. I was talking about this for months. And I hold Bitcoin Cash, so very happily in this green. Now, let me look at a older... Find an older chart. This one works too. Bitstamp, European chart. Right, on Bitcoin Cash, I'm on a weekly right now. Very simply, it was downtrending and then we hit a level of support. You can even see it on the left side. I didn't quite get the bottom, but I got in the middle here and then it went like 100% on me. It's just amazing play. But I'm still going to hold on to it for a little bit because I understand crypto from all my experience is if it's going to turn to a real moon rally, meaning it's going to go parabolic to the top of the price again, then I learned as an investor, the first red, that's not the end. Same thing with Palantir. We look at Palantir for a second, Palantir stock, right? The first red is not the end. It's the beginning. Actually, if something goes extremely parabolic, you have a gap up, first pullback, everybody knows buy that. If you're a day trader, that's one of the plays. Back in my day trader days, buy that play. So on Bitcoin Cash, that did happen. The first big pullback with a continuation. Now it's a matter of how high can this thing go before it crashes. So I'm still gonna hold this as long as I can. I don't want to cause FOMO or make people feel bad, but I do want to just illustrate the point of how did I even get inside here, right? Like how did I know before even getting in? It was floating down here for 1 year, 6 months to 1 year. If you're an investor, we had 6 months to decide, am I going to buy this or not? And I said, yes, I'm going to buy this. I'm in. So now the target is high. But let's bring it down to play the closes. You could even play the let's use the all-time high close. So my target ultimately is, there is an inverse head and shoulders here as well. And a lot of analysts are talking about that. And now that did influence my buy. 50% is the first target. We surpassed that. Second target is 100% to do 74. Third target's 150, and just have discipline, right? So a day trader might have already sold right now, but a swing trader or investor might understand the mega target might be way further up here, like 400s, maybe 700s, maybe even 1,000 again. That's why I'm still holding a little bit to see if it's going to go up there in a year from now or 6 months from now. If this is a relative bottom, right? Because you can even see back in, this is the 2019-18 crash. Crashed down a lot. This is actually the Bitcoin Cash Civil War right here. Right in October, November 2018. I lived through that. I didn't hold through that. I did not hold through that. I waited for this thing to crash. It started to have signs of life, and I remember buying Bitcoin Cash here. But it can pull back. This is what I'm saying. Same thing with Ethereum. It pulls back. You have one like hope rally. It pulls back, but if it goes sideways for a really long time, even in the pandemic, ooh, this is looking very good. We're starting to see signs of an uptrend. It's starting to flatten out, go up. Same thing here. We have massive crash. Oh, it's actually going sideways. If you know Wyckoff theory as well, accumulation. This thing is starting to go up. So I was buying here. Now it's all a matter of just how am I willing to hold it, right? Now, if somebody's saying, maybe getting some emotions about, oh, I miss this thing. I miss this crypto. What do I do now? Well, this is not financial advice. I'm talking to myself right now. This is educational, maybe more for paper trading. Education. But there's always 3 or 4 decisions we have in the market. So it's either we're going to buy, we're going to sell, we're going to hold, or we're going to do nothing, like pass. Okay, so somebody has to make a decision based upon the analysis and the knowledge. All right, let's just go through each really quickly. If somebody decides to buy just a random price right now, okay, we're talking about random price. What's the potential risk here? Well, the next level of support is like 20% down as an investor. How do I see that? Bring up volume profile as well, right? It was hanging out down here. The next bar of support is maybe this level, the blue level here, maybe like a upper 180s or a 200 area. And so that's kind of the risk of crypto. If somebody's buying high, they're going to try to sell higher, and any pullback can stop somebody out. Now, on a 1 hour, it is up crossed. The 4 hours up crossed as well. The daily is not up crossed yet, so that's how you know it's not even in full bull market mode. It's just some kind of upside down head and shoulders bounce off the floor. The weekly is not even in up cross either. So this is mainly day traders or investors. We're all getting in here. And so the next probably area of value is any of these dips, right? High, low, maybe a 50 EMA dip, which we did have one last night. So Europeans caught that one, or Asia traders caught that one. But if it ever pulls back down to like 165 even, or 188, high, low, high, low, high, low, it could bounce there and continue to go higher. Now, I'm closely watching this, because if this is some weird anomaly where it's only one rally and it's one and done, then we are actually starting to, I can see here on the hourly chart for certain day traders that there was a bearish divergence forming. So I can understand if there actually is going to be a pullback. But I think the momentum that I'm starting to see in crypto is we're starting to see it reverse back up to the upside. Okay. Why am I explaining all this? Because it's all going into the thought process. Because if somebody's out there right now, just looking at their watch list or just reading the news and then ignoring the price and have no strategy or no knowledge about TA charts and no risk management, that's like one of the worst places to be in, because you're just at the mercy of news breaking, or you just can't even see what the price is, right? So this is one coin. If you're starting to enter position, I would be a little bit watch out for that, because it went 100% in a couple days. 4 days. So that's enough time for the whole world, if you're serious about crypto, to notice this. So there could be some bearish pullback here incoming on Bitcoin Cash in the short term. But for me as a long-term investor, that's fine. It could just really high, low, high. It can even pull back down to like 140 or whatever, anywhere in that area. And then I want to see crypto blast off again. If it gets up to my target of like $500 to $1,000 area, then I might take some profit up there. But this is, if you're experienced in crypto, you know, not to sell too early. Now, this is a good example. Which other one went parabolic? XLM also. Why? Actually, not on this one, but GXLM on the stock market. This one went extreme parabolic, and this one also, right? So what can we learn here? It went from a downtrend into a possible uptrend. There was 6 months this whole year, high, low, high, low. Is somebody gonna buy that? We had Bitcoin here reversal, and then we had the big buyers. A lot of FOMO day traders on GXLM. Starting today. Right? It was going up for about 2 weeks. Right? Now, interesting that the real XLM didn't go up like that yet. So there might be one more play here for people. It might be a laggard play. It could have just been that crypto itself, like the real XLM, is too risky. So then people play the OTC stock XLM on the ETF side on stocks. That's kind of the shift that we're seeing now with these regulations right now, changes, and people are leaving crypto and they're going to like stock crypto ETFs, and that's kind of been the play for about a week. But it would be interesting to see follow through on the real XLM here. I'm on a weekly chart because I am starting to see what's the pattern. It's the same pattern. Downtrend. And you start to find some kind of levels of support area, and then it flips around. So same thing here, downtrending and almost downtrend. Oh, wait a second, it's trend change. Trend change, accumulation. This is the risk point, possibly a turnaround spot. Let's say if I were to enter into XLM, the actual crypto here on Binance, what's my stop loss as an investor? Like anywhere 10 to 20% on the downside, 25% on the downside. And then my targets on the upside must be pretty large for an investment, 50%, 100%, but even 200%. I was even thinking about that last week because we had this trend line broken out here to the side. This could be a bullish play on XLM, that XLM has not exploded like the stock OTC version of XLM, the grayscale version of XLM. So very interesting potential play here, long-term investment. That would be, if it actually goes 200%, that would be almost an 8-to-1, maybe a 7-to-1 reward to risk play in investment. That's why I'm very interested still in XLM. I'm going way over time here. Let me go over some other coins. I'm just going to focus on investing. Day traders, there's plenty of other streams out there covering crypto day trading, but I'm a crypto investor, so I like holding. Solana, it could be a very similar issue here with Solana, right? We had a nice down crash. Now, some of these coins, I do want to point out, the 65 plus coins listed in the SEC lawsuit, there's kind of negative sentiment on those, because if those got delisted from crypto exchanges like Cardano, Matic, Polygon, Solana, getting negative sentiment from the SEC in the lawsuit, that's why you're not seeing them explode up to the upside right now, right? Some of the more solid coins that have a higher chance, like XLM for digital payments, Bitcoin Cash, just because of the beautiful technical setup, might have a higher chance. But if this turns to a higher low for Solana, I mean, we should see a higher high here. Let's go to $45, $46 on Solana. The only thing I don't like about Solana is it didn't retrace all the way back down. So it's still quite a discount, though. It was 96 to 92% off. So if somebody still believes in Solana, I mean, this is definitely a better spot to buy than the top here. Okay, Cardano. Cardano, like I said last time, it could have dropped lower, but it didn't. So if we have this morning star here and it's starting to go rectangle to the side, that's okay. Not my ideal setup, but 24 cents here, and if you can break up to 45 cents, that's quite a long, that's 50% of the upside for Cardano, although it is listed negatively in that SEC lawsuit. Now, just on Fibonacci, it is below the 0.88 retrace and currently 90% discount from the all-time high. So, visually, it's not my favorite, though, because I like to see a little bit more oversold plays for crypto, right? If Cardano was all the way down here, I'd be really excited if Cardano was like 3 cents, but it's still 25 cents. It's not the cheapest crypto out there or for the price, but if this turns into a double bottom, I mean, the revival here for Cardano probably has enough momentum to go to $1 if they overcome the SEC lawsuit, just like Ripple did. It's possible. That's why crypto is risky. I do want to explain to people that crypto investing is dangerous and risky. Crypto is not the safest investment. There are way other safer investments in the world, like treasuries, savings accounts, bonds, etc. Crypto is a digital asset that you cannot hold with your hands and doesn't have as much utility as people think at this moment in time. So, the ultimate risk on cryptos, and I shouldn't just leave it on Cardano, but, think about Luna or FTX. This thing could crash to zero and then it goes bankrupt if something goes, the crypto exchange or the crypto itself goes to zero. So always remember that That's one of the first lessons that I learned is crypto is volatile. And, you know, the big lesson I've learned over this whole time in researching is if somebody buys at the wrong spot, a trader buys at the top and holds it to the bottom, they lost basically 90% of their money in the investment. So that's why you never see me do that, basically. I don't want that to happen because I researched that so much and knowing I don't want that to experience that, right? We want to see the other side. When it's going on the way up is when you go big on crypto, not when it's going down or the first big pullback when it's going down. That's why I went silent on crypto for like a year. All right. Now, XRP, just holding that support trend line. Let's just call it like that. Now, if you're a perma bull on XRP, this is actually an okay setup. You do want to watch out for the gold fake out because if you look at gold, what happened with gold? On the daily, we were in an uptrend, high, low, and then right at the support level failed. So XRP, it could actually happen. Okay, this is a weekly chart. It's different, but it doesn't have a strong upside down head and shoulders to blast us off to the moon. It's just barely trying to hold on here. Now, somebody could say again, wait, this is a ascending triangle. Okay. If it is, well, either two things. We need to break out or hold the support level. Any one of those two is generally bullish. Now, there is a double top in the short term, so you want to watch out for that, but it is floating around inside this structure. There should have been a double bottom, and this should have blasted off to 85 cents, but the lawsuit tempered that to the downside. So if we measure this, the bull target is about 68% to the upside, which is 80 cents again up here. And if it breaks down, about 50-something% to the downside, 50-ish, so about 18 cents. And that's the low back here of crypto 2020. So those two things I'm watching out for in XRP, but it's starting to, at least it's seeing some signs of it's trying to go up. That's good. AVAX was also mentioned, I believe in the SEC lawsuit or something similar to it. Only thing is, right now, it's at a level of support. Okay, so it has that going on for it. I'm on a weekly chart, by the way. So as long as it can hold that, great. Hold where? Right here, $10. So if we measure that, it isn't a descending triangle, but if it breaks out, it could go 78% to the upside, which is about $30. If it breaks down, you could see 70% to downside is ridiculous, but it would take us back down to $3 low. So we want to watch out for that. You can also use some Fibonacci as your guide. So this is where this snapshot in time is where an investor needs to understand what the coin is and understand what the potential risk to reward is on this. The ultimate risk is zero on crypto, but you know, once we understand that, if I just bought randomly in time right here, I just logged in and bought, it's still 20 to 25% risk as an investor with potentially maybe 100% up if this coin even survives, right? So that's a 4-to-1 play. DOT is very similar. I was very interesting, although some of these cryptos might get hit with that lawsuit problem again, but it is crashed down to a support level, right? If we talked about DOT up here, I would say, no, I'm not going to even buy that. No, thank you. Hard pass. But it's downtrended and crashed to the bottom, and there could be a weekly double bottom here. If this bounces bullish, that could be 78% from the bottom with a double follow through to 150%. If it goes bullish, you could see it starting to go sideways. A little bit signs of life. Once you barely see the signs of life, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then you get parabolic with Bitcoin Cash and GXLM, right? So same thing is for me, I have to make a decision. Although I might not buy this one, about other coins, but right, if somebody's interested, there is that potential. And for financial purposes, right, where's the, on this chart, it's again like a 20-25% risk with at least a 100% long-term target if the coin survives. Dogecoin, unfortunately, Doge did not really crash back down to oblivion of sub 1 cent. The coin that did do that was Shiba Inu, which is what I'm a little bit more interested in, right? If we flip AB, these charts, Doge, where is it? So that means people are still hodling Doge. That's at the 0.88 retrace, where Shiba Inu is way, way, way below the 0.88 retrace. And SHIB is about negative 90% off, whereas Doge is still about negative 90% off, but you know, the visual, it just doesn't look as good because Doge started way down here and it had a beautiful setup. I do want to point out, I still remember that one trader on TradingView who asked me about this exact Dogecoin setup and the exact SHIB setup. And hopefully that guy's on the moon right now. But SHIB right here, if we look at this, still in a descending wedge. It's not quite an upside down head and shoulders like the before the big boom on this moon rally, but there is some bullish momentum that is forming. It's very subtle, but you have this price coming down and the bullish divergence shooting up, starting to build. Might not be quite ready to go yet, but still interested in SHIB as an investment. Matic, all right, so Matic is a little bit different. Where Matic, you can see, established a lower low, lower high, and it's not as healthy looking as Cardano or Solana is, right? Because this could easily crash back down to 37 cents. Matic was one of the first coins to really rally, so I understand that. It lost its trend line, and that's why it's crashing right now. And the lawsuit is not helping, right? But if it starts to get very oversold, maybe some traders might come back for the investment. So Matic is only 74% off. Does that make sense? It's not, maybe 80. It's not even 90%. There are cheaper cryptos than Matic. Okay, very quickly, Atom. Uptrend was lost. Downtrend, now it's kind of in the symmetrical triangle stuck underneath Matic. So, Atom. So Atom, what needs to happen here on the weekly is first establish that level of support. It could fall because there was a double top here. It could fall down to about 63%, more down, or just stop here at $7 or $6.93. It needs to tighten up. We definitely need a trend change on Atom Cosmos because this is not a healthy looking chart. All right, near USDT, there could have been a catastrophic head and shoulders, but we are starting to see a little bit of signs of support from the left side, just above the dollar range to $1.20. This is a relatively kind of cheaper coin. But you can kind of see if this double bottoms, the target is immediately right here at $3. And that could be maybe 100% up to from where we are right now. This is presuming that Bitcoin does not crash or the SEC does not do lawsuits part 2 or something like that. Right? This is under the presumption that the worst is over for crypto and that the SEC lawsuit was that the fear bottom. I was talking to my friends about this, my colleagues, is that maybe one perspective is that the SEC lawsuits and all this bad news that happened this month for crypto marked the bottom of crypto and that we're starting a new bull cycle afterwards. It's like a new ecosystem that's starting. So if that's true and these cryptos survive, it does make sense because it did happen at the bottom of many altcoin cycle crashes. If the SEC lawsuit happened up here, then I would say this is not the bottom. We have a long ways to go down. But because it happened at where cryptos are at 90% down or 95% off, I'm more inclined to believe that this could be some kind of relative bottom, perhaps in the altcoin price. Now, Litecoin, one of the older cryptos, still hanging on its support level here. But if I just draw it like this, or we have Fibonacci's up, you can see Litecoin has quite a bit of target upside to go for the long-term investment. Okay, now Litecoin, let's see, when it rallies, sometimes it goes 300%, sometimes it goes 500%. We are only 50% from this bottom. So I'm anticipating, if with the Litecoin happening in a couple months from now, about, I think it's 2 months from now, this thing could easily shoot up to 161, almost double the price. The problem is it already bounced up off of its double bottom support. So we're not looking at the bottom of Litecoin right now. We're looking at maybe some kind of continuation play if this survives, if the flag survives here. You can go high, low, maybe pull back to like 73, and then people say that's a discount and buy it up to 165. But it's going to be news based as well. The EMAs are not even up crossed on the weekly. So this is looking like some kind of maybe potential consolidation continuation play on Litecoin. Actually turned to a sim triangle, a little wedge consolidation. So this one's more of a maybe, but I'm still very interested in Litecoin. All right, you can see I'm gonna go faster now. Uni trying to bounce off support on the investment time frame, the weekly time frame. Link, unfortunately, Link has a death cross, but Link is hanging out and trying to stay alive just below the 0.88 area. The negative 87%. So Chainlink is a good case study of what does a crypto that's going parabolic actually look like on the charts. It looks like this left side. Right up to here. Here in between the pink lines, purple lines. This thing is going parabolic. And then you have a rounding topping action, and that's how you know to get out of the market. Okay, I sold my coins here, I'm out of there. And when it starts downtrending, it almost looks like it wants to have another leg down. Low, high, low, there is no lower high, right? So if there is no lower high and it keeps dropping, it should drop a little bit more. And there is a little bit of room here for this to drop. But if this is the bottom of the entire crypto market, it is actually at some kind of relative level of support as well. So this, we're looking at the opposite case. And the only thing that needs to happen, just like Bitcoin Cash, is just one big bar coming in on Link. So Bitcoin Cash, you could see, right? When we looked at all these 10 or 15 charts in a row, you have the uptrend, the crash, and then this one was looking very tasty, delicious as a traders or investors setup. Does that make sense? It's accumulation, it's cheap, it's a brand name, it's an old coin, it looks safe, or it looks safer than, say, Matic. This doesn't look safe. This looks safe, safer for 6 months ago, right? Ethereum Classic as well. Not quite the bottom, but we're having a triple bottom. So whenever it has a triple bottom, there may be hope here for the bounce. Now, Ethereum Classic, my estimation, forecast, if it's going to go bullish, if it's a triple bottom, it should try to hit about 50% range or higher to like a $37 area. And right at the 0.88, I mean, there's something defending the right price here on the level 2. It is not going lower for now. So I like that. That's how you kind of know. Not just look at the watch list, look at the price, and I say, I see. There is a support here. So I might buy that support. Algo, not looking extremely healthy. It's still in its downtrending phase. And so I'm a little bit hesitant always to buy stocks or crypto when it's in their crash capitulation phase. I want to see something like a little bit like natural gas, the UNG chart from the beginning of this stream, where it starts to go a little bit sideways at least, or see some kind of trend change, or it goes sideways, or it starts to go up, aka Bitcoin Cash chart. XLM, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying again, is it's going down and it has a little bit of hope here. If it doesn't crash down, maybe we could get that big higher high on XLM, and then the rest of the world will FOMO in on that. But it's at an interesting point right now. VeChain as well. VeChain, you can kind of see the daily bullish divergence that's happening here on the charts, the weekly bullish divergence as well. But this one's going to take a little bit more time. VeChain is not a very popular coin anymore. The only thing good for this is old name brand that's negative 90% off, and the MACD is starting to see signs of life here. It could definitely drop lower to the 1 cent or below, but if you're a penny coin trader, if you like penny coin cryptos, this one still exists. Now, Mana and Filecoin, some of these were listed in the SEC lawsuit, so I'm not going to really push these too hard, but just as an educational example, these are two different charts, and I would interpret these differently as low, lower high, lower low, maybe, or a higher low. If it really stays above 32 cents, it has a chance to go to 75 cents. You just draw a rectangle like that. Now, Filecoin, on the other hand, is same deal. Because of this Bitcoin ETF, all this good news that happened last week, if we could hold this, just last 2 weeks of price, hold that as the bottom, might have a chance to trend change. I'm not going to do all these, but we'll do HBAR because it's related to payments. HBAR as well, you can see that right there perfectly at the trendline support, yellow line down there. And you'll know if HBAR is in trouble is if as soon as it loses 3 cents, 371, or 4 cents, 428. If it does this on the price, then I'm out of there. I'm not going to buy that as a long. But if it bounces and starts to bounce, I mean, that's the first chances at a rally, right? So you can kind of see it happening, I would say, just barely here in December 2020 on a much smaller scale. But this could be our first stop. All right. Waves, my alerts were firing off like crazy last week because I put this here months ago, and now it's actually coming to fruition. Waves. What happened here? Double bottom after a major crash. So this is a good chart to study as well. This is going up, and then it's getting stuck horizontally, tested a lot of violence here in the volatility. And then we have that, this is kind of that island gap up top. If this was stocks, resistance up here, and then you have a crash sell off. But now it crashed down very, very swiftly. It was 97% off, now it's still negative 95% off. So I remember talking about this. This thing could go 100 to 200% long term if the market stays alive. You could just kind of imagine the stop loss being right here in the blue. Sometimes this thing doesn't work, but you have $100 to $200. So maybe right here somewhere, $4 mark to about the 630 mark. Something you want to watch out for, right? It is not going parabolic now, but if it does, we're going to be happy about this, that we saw this on the charts. All right. Let's just rapid fire the rest. XTC, Tezos, I mean, just this is probably not all of the price history, but you can see double bottom after a negative 90% crash. Let me keep my eye on this one. Let me put an alert here, actually. Every time XTZ, potential bull breakout, because this just visually looks very nice chart. And Interesting why the color turned to white. That's interesting change on the alerts, but 71 as well is my bearish breakdown level. So always make sure you have some kind of alerts here. So because it's impossible for a human to look at 5,000, 2,000 coins at the same time. It's impossible. Only algorithms can do that. Only computers can do that. So that's why you got to put your alerts and let the alerts do the work for you. The monitoring, I mean, with the eyes. AVE, just trying to hold this triple bottom here. This looks like it's below the 0.80 retrace. Yep. Interesting. Starting to turn to some kind of little descending little flag here, but I wouldn't be surprised if this actually turns into a slanted upside down head and shoulders. That would be 80% to the upside from the breakout. Take us perfectly to the 130 area right there. All right. EOS, this is an old coin. EOS not looking so great. Most people have forgotten about this coin. So I do not see any signs of immediate reversal here on the weekly. This is going to take more. We need to see it either have some kind of higher low, like we're seeing on XRP right now, or I need to see it go sideways for a considerable amount of time, and then people are going to get excited about that. It's on its left side. I still consider this kind of catching a falling knife, so no thank you on EOS. Zcash is interesting, just that it hit its pandemic low. So just from an area of value, there's some value here on Zcash. And I estimate if this happens to just bounce, it goes straight to $60, may pull back, possibly double bottom or higher low, and then one more attempt up to 100. So that's why this is a there's so much open space here. Crypto has open space to rally. And if it does, we're all going to be happy about that. Now, in terms of the stop loss, again, it's an immediate 20 to 25%. You can even see, watch out for these, I'm going to call market maker wicks or liquidity wicks, where if it crashes down like that, that's almost 50% flash crash. But if the long-term target is 100% to 200%, then I understand that is a long-term play. So, sometimes having a really tight stop loss on crypto, investing is not good. You need to have a properly positioned size and risk and understanding of even how much time does it take. Could take 3 months and then crash down. And then it could take 1.5 years to go 10x, right? That's why for me is if we're starting the next bull cycle, I'm all for it. But I'm going to have to be patient and wait. IOTA, another one of these payment cryptos, but it's an old one. Now, IOTA, if you remember this coin, did have some troubles in its past, but we are starting to reach a level of support. Pull up the volume profile. This is a very limited data set going only to 2018. It doesn't even have the 2017 data in here, but you can see most of the trading occurred in the upper 30 cents, so it could just easily revert to that mean of 25 to 30 cents. If there's no more sellers, the price has to go up. Okay, does that make sense? Supply-demand dynamic. Price is going up to increase the value and the demand. All right, so 242 is that all-time high, and so the 40 cents could be the first target, 60 cents. Keep in mind, there's always that no man's land stop loss down here, so about 12 cents area, 11 cents could be somebody's risk, that's a long ways down. It's a lot of risk for crypto if you're putting a lot of money in here. So it's 35% to downside, so just understand that. Maker, this is interesting. You're starting to see some of these cryptos, they're attempting to make some kind of turnaround. This could be inside of a symmetrical triangle. It's tightening up. So if this is not going to immediately explode to the upside, that's one scenario here on Maker. 55% to the upside. take us to the upper 1000s. Or it can tighten up here, and that's another scenario, and then either break up or break down. But why I like these charts is we're looking at it when it's cheaper. I remember when I first started streaming, that was almost 2 years ago, is people were, the live chats, all live chats, all platforms, there are a lot more people, and people are really hyped up and excited about crypto, but it's because that's top. And if you've been in the markets long enough, just even talking to your friends or family, is when things go really sky high, that's when people start talking about crypto or stocks, like general public, just random people, right? Start talking about it when it's up high, because if there's so much green, then the word spreads on social media. But all the experience, I'm going to call like maybe experienced or advanced or professional or veterans on the market, they've been in for a longer period of time. So big money selling coins and shares to small money. Does that make sense? And then you get out. They need small money to get out. They need volume to get out. So the reverse is true. After a large crash, somebody is accumulating this. Wyckoff theory. Could be whales, could just be investors, but somebody's accumulating here. Why? It's not going down anymore for now. So if it stops here at some kind of relative starting point, maybe there's a chance. Right? You have to have some experience and visualize. Oh yeah, this thing could go up to 17 or 2000, and Fibonacci helps with those targets. 2000 possibly. All right, so GRT, possible upside down head and shoulders. You want to watch out for that. It doesn't crash. Zilliqa with the possible double bottom in the short term. Same thing with One Harmony. Neo at the higher low. Gallo at the higher low. Chili's not looking so great. Just kind of consolidating in this downward wedge. So I'm not excited about that. ENJ with the possible double bottom. But you do see a recurring theme here is most of all the altcoins are copying Bitcoin and Ethereum, basically. Or Binance or Ripple, and one of those. So it's all correlated once you get kind of to the lower, smaller coins, which I'm not going to go over all of them. CRV, potential upside down head and shoulders, if that happens. Potential 100% from the breakout. I want to watch that. Risk here at 50 cents. BAT is the old one, basic attention token with a potential double bottom. I like to see that. Now let's see, BAT. 64% to the upside. Target. 132nd target. 44. All right. AMP, this is one coin I will not buy. It's a very small coin, but because it's literally aiming down like an arrow, I don't want that. I don't want that. And I do not want that unless something amazing happens with the news or the company. This is a chart I'm going to stay far away from. ICX, you don't really hear much about this one. It used to be a big name in Asia, but right, higher low and then start to go up. XRP used to be really popular in America, and then it got kicked off at one point, and then it became really popular in Europe. And now it's becoming popular again in America a little bit. So it's just kind of interesting to see those trends change over time. You see a lot of support plays, higher lows. Now we're getting to some really small coins. Now, if we do the really small coins, I usually don't like to show these, but something related to VeChain up there used to be an interesting play. I used to play VeChain and VeChain Thor a lot in my day trading days. But I do like to see this on VeChain Thor. It's such a small coin, 94% off, and looks like it stopped crashing. So that's a good sign, starting to go sideways. And if it gets that higher low off, I mean, this thing is so cheap, it could really blast off. It's not even 1 cent. So this is an extremely volatile coin, token. I would caution against this. Just beware. For you to do whatever you want, but just beware that if this thing crashes, it crashes hard and crashes fast. But if there's a nice play to be had here, you can even go 500%. But it could take 2 years. That doesn't sound good. But if you're just, set it and forget it, like a stop. If you do an OCO order, if your exchange does that, right, you could just kind of set it, forget it, or set 3 alerts here, managing your position and risk. And then you don't have to, it's just my style, but I don't need to look at my portfolio every single day, maybe every week, every month, or when some major events happen. But the fundamental, my mindset, it shifts. Day traders is all about now. What's the setup right now? 1 minute, 2 minute, 30 seconds, 5 minute, 15 minute. I need to make money now. We need to make money at 9:30 or 6:30 in the morning, right? What's the next play? What's the next setup? A swing trader is thinking more on a slower time frame and saying, okay, I'm looking for setups. I have a little bit of time. I can enter in the middle or end of the day. I don't even have to enter in today. If it's, investors thinking more about, all right, long-term plays. I want to catch the major tops for shorts. I want to catch the major bottoms for longs. And so this is looking like some kind of, at least it could be a tradable bottom. If this is not the bottom of the crypto market, absolute, then at least maybe it's a relative trading spot that we're attempting the bulls to get in higher. Some coins just crash, right? OXT and the other one I showed, I forgot which one it was, but that was just pointing down like an arrow. Some of these just look down, and I'm not going to buy that. No, thank you. All right, we pretty much reached the list of, this is still an abbreviated list. It's not even the main list. All right, looks like I went way over time, but this let's consider this a special crypto stream. If anybody has requests, I could do like one request before we sign off. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching and following. I'm streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And again, this stream is just kind of a inside look into my thought process as a technical analyst, a swing trader, investor, stock investor as well. And we're starting to see some moves coming into crypto. This is good. This is good. Now, again, this is not financial advice. The general advice, like educational advice I could give to people is, as an investor, we want to be early. And I like to buy low. I like to buy dips. And if it ever goes high, like I like to buy low or I like to buy dips. And if it ever goes higher, if it's a good asset or a good crypto, good stock, and it happens to go higher, then I like to sell high, sell the rips, whatever you want to call it, sell it in the sky, I like to call it, when it goes parabolic. So basically, the way I think about it is when the price hits the floor, I like to buy as an investor. When the price hits the floor. So when it hits like one of these levels, I'm at the floor of like a building. And then when it goes 50 stories high, or when the price is in the sky, it's in the clouds, it's on the moon. People are so excited, they're so happy. I might want to take my profit or sell some there. It's a natural dynamic of the market, and I've learned it over time, just studying, researching, practicing, and experiencing the market for myself for years. That's the play as a long. Everybody wants. So if we're going to get that play, if we're going to start it now, I recognize, all right, if we're about to go parabolic or moon on crypto, let it happen. I'm ready for it. Also, managing my risk. I'm not always hyper bullish like this, but managing my risk of, all right, what's my maximum risk on my account or on this trade? And I understand that the crypto market here on the bottom side, as it stands today, could still crash -10 or -20 or -30% if the news or situation is very, very bad in the next 3 to 6 months. So I understand both cases. And then it's just a matter of managing my position size, my risk, understanding consumer sentiment, understanding the coins itself and the stocks, knowing what I own. What is it? What does it do? What did I just buy? Or what am I going to buy? What are the future prospects of the coins and stocks? And the government, what are they doing? What are the corporations doing? What's the breaking news, right? You put all those together with technical analysis as well, and you pretty much have a higher chance of forecasting the correct direction. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And there's a lot of charts and knowledge and education in this one, but I hope this helps somebody. So if you like this stream, if you learned something, if you liked it, I would appreciate a follow or a, share my stream or just tell your friends and your family. And always appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.